Nestled amidst olive groves and the vineyards of the Chianti wine region, Siena is one of the jewels of Tuscany. Spread out over 3 hills, the city is like a treasure trove filled with marvels, some famous, others offering unexpected surprises. Siena was founded by the Etruscans and later became a Roman city with the name of Siena Julia. In the 13th century, the city was a financial center of international importance and had a larger population than Rome. The 13th and the 14th centuries were Siena's golden era, the period in which the city was filled with the monuments and artistic treasures that grace its streets to this day. Siena remained an independent republic until 1555, when it became part of the Grand Duchy of Tuscany. The history of Siena was played out on the Piazza del Campo, or better, Il Campo, as the local people call it. There is no other place in the world quite like the Piazza del Campo, and its distinctiveness derives first of all from the very particular conformation of the terrain, which gives the square the shape of an enormous concave shell. The Campo is paved with red bricks arranged in a herringbone pattern and divided into a sunburst design by 9 strips of travertine. For centuries, the Campo has been the site of Siena's spectacular and at times terrible games, since it was the only place in the city where the games were allowed. The games were later replaced by the Palio, Siena's famous horse race. Housing the offices of the local administration of the city of Siena and the Civic Museum, the Palazzo Pubblico is a significant example of civic Gothic architecture. At the base of the palazzo is the Chapel of the Virgin, also known as the Chapel of the Square, which was constructed by the people of Siena after the end of the terrible plague of 1348. The Palazzo Comunale, or Town Hall, bucks tradition, in that it stands on the lowest part of the square, while the tall, slender Torre del Mangia stands out against the blue Tuscan sky. In the middle of the Campo stands the Fonte Gaia, a fountain unique for its quadrangular form and beautiful figures adorning its edges. The original by Jacopo della Quercia is now housed in Santa Maria della Scala. The Piazza del Mercato, or Market Square, is much older than the more famous Piazza del Campo. As its name suggests, it was once the site of the local market, as well as the mint of the Republic of Siena. The square is rectangular in shape, with various edifices lining its 2 longer sides. At the center of the square stands the covered stall of the market, a 19th century reproduction of the original. The market is covered by a wooden roof with tiles supported by large brick columns. Siena is divided into 17 contrade, or neighborhoods. The Sienese people belong first to the contrada and then to the city. The contrade compete against each other in the Palio, Siena's famous horse race, and rivalry between the neighborhoods plays an integral part of the competition in the months before the event. 10 contrade are selected for each race. Each contrade is assigned a horse, and the horses compete in the race that takes place in Piazza del Campo. Thousands of spectators and participants fill the square, transforming it into a teeming sea of people. Here is the bruco, or caterpillar contrada, represented by a crowned caterpillar crawling on a twig with leaves. On the cathedral square rises Siena's Duomo, the majestic cathedral of St. Mary of the Assumption, a splendid example of the Italian Gothic. The west facade was begun in 1285 with Giovanni Pisano as a master architect. The golden mosaics in the upper gables, the work of Venetian artists, depict the presentation of Mary at the temple, the coronation of the Virgin, and the Nativity. Shown here, a detail from the upper facade. The columns between the portals are richly carved with foliage, putti, and animals. The Duomo's unique black and white striped bell tower in the Romanesque style dates from 1313. Each level of the tall, square bell tower has a greater number of round-headed arcades than the one below. Extending south from the cathedral is the Facciatone, a great facade built as part of a major expansion to the Duomo of Siena in the 14th century. The existing cathedral was to become merely the transept of a huge structure that would surpass even St. Peter's Basilica in Rome in magnitude, and serve as a potent symbol of Siena's wealth and prosperity. Opposite the north side of the cathedral is the Archbishop's Palace, a surprisingly early example of neo-Gothic.